everyone. This is Sharonda, and this is my podcast as well as Facebook and YouTube channel, SPRITUALsense. Today is Monday, which is July the 22nd. And so in this podcast, I'll go over topics involving the paranormal, occult, supernatural, spirituality. I'd like to start off by saying that this podcast, Facebook, and YouTube sometimes educational purposes. It just depends on which episode you listen to. So I consider myself to be a gypsy, a nomad, psychic light, magic mind medium, spiritualist, self-proclaimed parapsychologist. I think most people have an interest or a curiosity into the paranormal. Alright, so I also do what I refer to as spiritual readings, which are essentially tarot card readings. Okay, so we're going to proceed with, give me just a moment. So I'm going to bring in my give me just a moment. Tarot cards. So you are able to view. Let's see. Give me just a moment. I'm having a all right. So let's proceed with the tarot card for today. So what does the cosmos has to convey in terms of this reading? One, two, and three. All right, so let's go ahead. All right, so the first card is the Queen of Wands, the public defender. The Queen cards are nurturing and emotional, feminine energy. These cards can represent a mature woman defender. The next card we have is the Princess of Wands, the dancer. So Wands relates to willpower, life force, passion, creativity, ego, and personality. And then we have Society, which has the number 10 there. Renewal, fulfillment, and end of cycle. So I honestly feel as though this read is in regards to someone who, I mentioned previously in a couple of episodes that I did about the revelation that God had given to me in terms of spiritual duties or spirit-related job fields, and why certain things happen, why certain people have certain talents versus others, and basically what that was or what I felt that was. So I honestly feel as though in relation to somebody experiencing some type of despair or some type of not taking up for oneself, not advocating for oneself, if that makes any sense. When I get the dancer card to me relates to death, the dance of death. And so I begin to realize and understand that in order to survive, ultimately survival, God will put the spirit in you to where you will get that sensibility as to what that is. Surviving, as it mentions, only the strongest will survive. Only the strong will survive. This is basically about survival. To get a real sensibility about that. So let's see what it mentions about love, love, love. Let's pull these up and we're going to proceed. All right, so we have 1, 2, and 3. Wedding rings. I honestly feel as though something lets me know that you feel burdened is what it lets me know, or have felt burdened. And somehow you was paired with someone based on a promise and they didn't make that fulfillment. You're going to forever hear me saying that because I'm speaking for personal experiences, and I think this is basically the scheme of life, or my theme in life, which was not a life I chose for myself or I wanted for myself, but somehow I'm here. So that's what I feel that is. I have outdated thinking, conditioning, replaying events over in your head. So something lets me know that you have a hard time with coming to terms with that. Why is that? I don't think it's you personally. I think the energy space that is around you have a hard time with coming to terms with that, particularly when there has been some changes, a spiritual renewal, if that makes sense to you, that will warrant and how you think and differences in how you feel. Ultimately, I believe that there has been an evolution that took place within you, a change. That's the only way I can put it. I have not today, not dealing, hurt, avoiding conversation, call a person, boundary, still angry. I honestly feel as though I don't want to refer to it as bitter. But something lets me know that there is a little bit of bitterness, perhaps even anger there. Is it warranted? I do believe it's warranted. You have every right to feel angry about the cards that was dealt to you in this life experience. I honestly feel that way. You have every right to feel the way you feel. But we want to move forward from that because I think it's a revolving cycle, it's a revolving door. Something lets me know there was a lack of communication, and that's what a lot of that anger comes from. Due to a lack of education and communication. Let's proceed with past life. So let's get a little bit about past life. Past life. What are some of the things that transpire in history to facilitate some of these things? This anger and I don't think it's demonic, but I think it's not a pleasant energy to be around. It's what it lets me know. Speak with 1, 2, and 3. Again, this podcast, Facebook and YouTube is for entertainment purposes. It is for entertainment purposes. So something lets me know that control and you feel like you was in prison or slave, like you're being, I'm going to explain to you what I feel is I stagnant and you feel closed in, like someone has done something to you to keep you closed in. I'm going to tell you that I believe that you have a lot of slave mentality like people that gravitate to you. Energy spaces from time ago. Because as we see here, we got the outdated thinking card here. Greco-Roman card shows up as well. I have Asia to show up as well. You're going to begin to see that some stereotypes fit for a purpose, if that makes any sense. And I'm not making any Asian jokes or what have you, because I think certain things will fit. In other words, that is a way to deter you from things that are unfavorable. Okay? Now we're going to proceed with thoughts, faith, and beliefs. So what are some of the things that are going with thoughts, faith, and belief? Let me pull out my Celtic cards, and we'll be bringing this to a close in the next 20 minutes. All right, we have 1, 2, and 3. And my internet is had a couple of glitches. It was very bad yesterday. So the Celtic cards has Five of Pentacles, where 5 relates to stress, finances, and possessions. So I get this sensibility that the desire that you get to relinquish and to give up is picking up on energies not only in family or even culturally, but you're picking up energies from a land space times ago, if that makes any sense to you. It just mentioned to me that is what magnetism or magnet, like you're pulling off of energy spaces, moments in time in history, is what it lets me know. These are some of the things they feel. Because I'm going to tell you, I don't like I'm not the most cheerful, upbeat person, but I don't like to be down in a rut. I don't like a lot of woe it's me, wanting somebody to feel sorry for me, pacify me, baby me. No. I can't stand that. And something lets me know that you are that same way. But somehow I cannot shake this feeling. I can't shake this mode or this phase. So what is this? Well, I'm going to tell you what that is. You are empath. If you check out my podcast about empath, which is more or less like a medium where you're able to pick up energies from a time and space, and that is your way of knowing the validity of what is written in terms of history, what's in textbooks and things of that sort. Because oftentimes what is written down may not necessarily be the truth. False doctrine. So because you have you're a thinker, you're a free thinker. You don't believe everything that presents to you, so God has to put you in such a way to where you will understand whether it is true or not, if that makes any sense. The next card I have is 10 of Pentacles. 10 relates to renewal, fulfillment, end of cycle. Pentacles again relates to the material aspects of life, career, finances, business, and possession. So it just gave me an inclination that you what is going on with you is you're seeing things for what it truly was, like the ground roots. Like God has given you the ability to get the true understanding as to what spirit-related job fields come from, how financial, trade, commerce come about, business, how a lot of these businesses were acquired and came into existence, as well as personal possessions, like what it went into and what it entails for your own personal possessions and things. Like you're getting a more sensibility as to what the legwork or what the blood, sweat, and tears that went into where we are. If that makes any sense. Like you're picking up on things in history that transpired. Because I honestly feel as though once God, you asked a question, and I believe God gave you the answer because you asked a question you wanted to know, and somehow you have, I get a sense of despair and dread to where, what's the point? So I understand that. This is to give you a synopsis about what transpired in a people in a land space. That's what it is. The next card I have is the Empress. So I do believe that this Empress card is a representation. Again, the Empress card, I'm going to read what's on the guide. Feminine power, creativity, fertility, expression, and pleasure. So this is Mother Earth. It's wanting to be communicated to where people see that the ground roots of how a lot of these discoveries of these lands, cities, the coming about of many things came into existence. So I think that's what the massive communication is in terms of what this reading is focused on. So let's proceed. We're not going to be doing this long. Let's go ahead and let's get to, well, what does the energy wants to be regarding history? Like, what does the energy wants to be conveyed? Well, let's proceed. All right, let me go out. Focus on this one right here, this card right here. And let's hope it's not the Queen of Swords, because I have pulled that card, I think, 2 times within the last week. So, and I think this is anywhere from, I haven't counted the cards and I don't have the guide. Oh, well, I got the guide here, but I possibly could look and see how many is there. Okay, so we have the 5 of Chalices. I typically pull the 5 of Chalices frequently. 5 relates to stress, conflict, instability. Now we know chalices, which are essentially the cups, relates to our feelings and emotion, creativity, relationship, intuition, and compassion. So I think a lot of it is how you're feeling. In other words, this is what you're picking up on. A lot of the dread and despair of people from time ago. If you go back and look at a lot of the historical pictures and things of that nature, they never smile. At least the ones that I've seen. Now, what you see in your internet, or your search engine, they never smile. To me, it seemed as though the desire wasn't really there. There was no happiness, if that makes any sense. And I mentioned a couple of podcast episodes ago that revelation came to me about idol work. Idol work. I think they simply were not happy. And oftentimes you'll find that despair is such as that, because it simply were not happy. Simply was not happy. Just simple as that. So the next card I have here, well, the same card, Five of Chalices. So this is basically what I feel spirit or sources wanted to be conveyed in terms of history and why you are feeling the feelings you feel and what are you picking up on. Well, just put it this way. I believe that that is what the culture of the land space was time ago that you're picking up on. It says Shin's eye. The Shin represent the sun's orbit. Or the eternity of the vital cycles placed under Ra's protection. So I believe that this is why certain things like landmarks and certain things that was placed within certain locations was to put focus on those locations because something just didn't seem right with the energy spaces that was coming in terms of emotions and feelings and behavior. And when you go back and look into history, it would tell a tale. The positive mentions occult protection, positive change, seasonal cycles, natural order. So I do believe that occultism was very prevalent in where I live and whoever this reading is for, where you live as well. So if we take entities or spirits, I should say, existed some time ago. Like if I feel as though there was a lot of occultism in the land space of where I live, and possibly whoever's watching this live as well. So it would give you a synopsis as to, okay, so could that very well be the case as to who's doing occultism? And possibly that could be what occurred or what type of people inhabited land spaces. The next one says negative moment of transition, difficulty, foreseeable problems. So I honestly feel as though some energies came in and said, okay, that is not of God, that is not right, that's not kosher. We need to move these people away from this space. You know, I had somebody to tell me who was of African descent, and I have descendants that are African. And this is not to be offensive to African cultures, beliefs, or anything, okay? That Africans was coming back and forth to these lands, meaning the Americas, prior to. So if you just sit back, God is going to put the spirit in you. You're going to empathetically, that means you're going to understand what it is. Okay, if we're not doing occultism over here, and then you getting the sensibility of that here, could that very well be that those people are here, and that is very so. That is very well so. Despite whatever you see written in the textbook, I believe that is so. All right. So when you know who you are as an individual, meaning personally as an individual as well as culturally, when you start taking on these feelings and emotions and things that you can't shake, that will give you a synopsis as to, okay, maybe I need to go back in history. Maybe I need to go to the library and start studying genealogy, which is records and documents that was kept about what transpired moments in time in history. We was established in the 1700s, but I'm going to have to do something with my restream. It keeps going on in and out. It's not It's the actual website. It's not because I have my podcasting up, and that's the purpose of me podcasting along with doing my visual presentation, because I want to see if it's me, them, or whatever else. I think it's them. All right, so, and if you don't want to hear this, if this is offensive, just turn it off. But anyways, if you go back and look at documents that has been in genealogy that is in the library, well, in the 1700s or so. So this is only contained back to the 1700s even. You want to get into the original. Well, that's going to take a higher sensibility of learning to get synopsis. Because as we know, this planet has been around, according to what science mentioned, millions of years. So we are just a remnant of a snapshot in time, is the point. We want to go farther back, farther than when the discovery and the comings about of what is established now. And then you will get that sensibility as to what that is. Okay? So again, I think a lot of your feelings and emotion is tied to relationships. Is God tapping you into your intuition about certain things, and you'll get a synopsis about, who knows what they're talking about versus who does not. There's no need to argue about that. The next card I have here is Soul Truth. Not Soul Truth, Life's Purpose. What is the purpose and what is the point? Okay, well, this stands out here. Author. I think that you need to write a book, because some people don't think like that, they just do. You need to write a book about this, because some people think that the way it is the way it always been. Well, if we know that it comes about and the Constitution, which was written in the 1700s, they said Christopher Columbus, which that is not his name, I think it's Christoph Colombo or something of that nature. He discovered the United States in the 1400s. And then with the advent of a lot of the cities that was established around about the 1700s or so. Okay, so what happened in the 1300s and what happened in the 1200s? So you'll begin to get a higher sensibility, and that is not going to be kept readily in what has been institutionalized now. So people live prior to is the point. That's the purpose, to to get people to think and to critical think. These lands was inhabited by a certain people many times ago, and the need for updating and improvement, they was pushed away. What you call these group of people was called, are you calling them those same group of people today? So this is not that type of podcast, but I'm just, giving based on what the cards is reading. I think the major thing in this is to defend oneself and to know thyself. You may not be able to see it because I got my logo there. To know thyself, to begin to get research on you as an individual and the land space and you as a cultural, because when you begin to take on these energies that you don't feel as though is your own, that's God giving you a discerning spirit. Maybe I need to go and do a little bit more research as to what is written down, because these are not my true feelings, and I want it to be known that That's not to say you don't have control of your actions. Feelings and actions are two different things. You may feel anger, you may feel rage or what have you, but that doesn't mean that you should act upon those feelings. It's the point. And I think many people have a hard time with acting upon, refraining from acting upon those feelings, because something lets me know that a lot of that negative energy came by way of being harassed. Meaning somebody's trying to take over, somebody's trying to exploit. That's what it lets me know. So that's basically what that is. Now I'm going to go ahead and bring this to a close. It mentions the author. You have a book inside of you that wishes to be, make the time to write it. So again, I do believe that this is God awakening that spiritual duty within you, because inclination has been put in you. And other things that gravitates to me is despite of. I don't like being a, how can I put it, whiner. That's not me. I don't like being in despair. I mean, I may not be the most happiest person that you would see, but I don't like whining and, complaining. That's not me. So something lets me know that this energy that I'm picking up on is coming from time ago. A land, space, time ago. And you'll begin to see that energies that gravitates to you is telling on moments in time in history, things that transpired moments in time in history. And that will become apparent to you. Let's get the angel healing. What energy God wants around you? And I'm about to bring this to a close in the next 10 minutes. Actually, in the next 5 minutes. Affirmation. I also feel as that is your confirmation by way of you to listen to your soul, listen to your heart, listen to what God puts within you, because that is Him giving you a synopsis about what transpired moments in time in history. He said, I listen to myself and acknowledge my needs. I assert myself and retain my power. I am brave and gentle. I don't have to be afraid of others. You don't have to be afraid of others, because this is deemed by way of God. You have the freedom to express yourself. Public defender. You understand? Public defender. And whoever has a problem with it, then that's their problem. But you have a right to defend yourself. I respect myself and am respected by others. I think people have more respect for you when you research and you have a thirst and a hunger to want to know, instead of having a slave, as they would say, mentality where you just go off of what you see and don't research and investigate to see why you are picking up those feelings the way you feel. All right, so we're going to get your angel cards. What does it say in this situation? What we're going to find out. We're going to find out what the angels say. Hello from heaven. So I honestly believe that is your confirmation. That is your confirmation that it's coming from a place that you want to be. You remember I said heaven is where you want to be. You want to be in a happy space, a happy place. Archangel Azrael, your loved ones in heaven are doing fine. Let go of worries and feel their love and blessings. So I do believe that your loved ones, being those who was upon these lands, moments in time in history, want to give you confirmation that you are fine. You don't have anything to fear, and don't let anything trouble your heart, your soul, and proceed to research and write a book. Whether people choose to hear it or not, that's on them. But the information is there. That's what I feel. It's been there for quite some time. And when you limit it and go off of what you see, you stump yourself, you limit yourself, you curse yourself. And what does that mean? You allow these energies to come in, manipulate, control, and deceive you, and you will become a part of that reality. That's simple as that. When you know better, as they say, you do better. The next card I have here is the Soul Truth card. So what does the Soul Truth card want to mention today? All right, so we're going to go here. This is what I'm focused on. Am I getting enough rest to restore my energy and fully show up to my life? So this is why we want to take care of ourselves. This is why we want to, and you know, as I speak to you, I speak to myself. I don't want to seem hypocritical. I understand that cigarette smoke is not kosher, but you want to be able to understand, rather, is it coming from a lack of nutrition? Is it coming from not drinking enough water, not resting, not getting in your zine, or is this coming from something else? Well, I'm going to tell you, when it's soul driven and you continuously gravitate to these things that are not good and right, it's something going on with the soul. Because when you know better, you do better. So that means, you know, I keep stopping and I start back. This is to give me a synopsis about what a person is feeling or experiencing without actually going through it. If that makes any sense to anybody, I'm not trying to condone smoking cigarettes or eating foods that you shouldn't eat. No. But I'm going to tell you, this is God's way of giving me synopsis as to what transpired moments in time in history, and could this very well be the culprit. So again, it says, I am getting enough rest. Am I getting enough rest to restore my energy and fully show up to my life? I think what is going on is there's an awakening that is happening within you to where you have shown up to life, because you have been living in an illusion is what it wants me to convey to you. Things are not as you think they are. And once you receive true knowledge, then you will see why they try to hide and obliterate certain people from giving you true knowledge, certain population groups and such. So that dancer spirit is survival. Survival. We're going to show you how these things manifested. We're going to show you how the dissolution of a people or dissolution of a land space came about. We're going to show you that. You are the asset. That means you have value. You are the asset. Once you become powerful, the angels need to be summoned around you because you become a threat. This body is your vehicle. Notice how your body is feeling, how much sleep you are getting, and what you can do to help your body rest. Today's soul's action: take a bath, put on some lavender essential oil, go to bed ridiculously early, or give yourself a time out today. Notice your body thanking you. Today's mantra: the more I give myself permission to rest, the more I can contribute. So how can you fight? And we're not talking about fight in terms of physical fight. Like, how can you know if you don't free your brain? Because God did, by way of misknowledge, false doctrine, people shall perish. And people don't realize what that means. Erroneous information by false prophets incompetent spiritual duty participants, if that makes any sense to you. So I am going to go ahead, I'm going to conclude this episode of Spiritual Sense tarot card reading. And if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you're more than welcome to comment below. Until then, have a safe and wonderful day. Good day.